Good day, folks. Today, my episode is going to be on a former Olympian, a former world champion. His whole boxing career, from walking into a boxing gym to being heavyweight champion of the world, happened within 7 years. Let that sink in. 7 years. Oh yeah, and won the gold medal in the Olympics to boot. My name is Bola Ray, and this is the scoop. Now, born January 4th, 1935, into a poor Waco, North Carolina family of 11 children. Yeah, they were poor for a reason. That's a lot of mouths to feed. Was none other than Floyd Patterson. Now, while he was really young, Floyd moved, or the family moved to Brooklyn, New York. And his early years was nothing shy of tumultuous, where Floyd was just constantly getting himself in trouble, as idle hands will do. He by the time he was 10 years of age, he was sent upstate to Wicket Boys School, which was a reformatory school for wayward youth. He had been caught, like I said, several times on several different charges with tardiness in school or just petty theft and whatnot. Now, what was notable about this scenario was the fact that Floyd attributed this time and this experience to be life-changing. He straightened him out. No. He he actually got out on good behavior. His sentence was decreased a little bit, but he was out by the time he was 12. And he then went on to high school. He was incredibly talented when it came to athletics. But exactly how talented was he? It showed exactly how talented he was. With him starting boxing, walked into a boxing gym when he was 14 years of age. In 3 years. Now, for anybody who's ever done boxing, it is a challenging sport. Not just to learn, but to compete. And if you're competing it, then to excel and be number one anywhere, it takes time. He had won the Golden Glove, the National Golden Glove, twice by the time the third year of him participating in the sport had passed. Not only that, he won the 1952 Helsinki Summer Olympic Games gold medal in the middleweight division after taking up the sport in only 3 years. Yeah, he was a super talent. He was a super athlete. Full stop. His achievements caught the eye of future legendary trainer Customato, and that was his guy. That was his guy for the rest of his career. So, Floyd turned pro later on that year and had his first professional contest later on that year in the middleweight division. He fought for a while. He did his thing, and yeah, moved up in weight class and sustained his first loss June 7th, 1954, to former world light heavyweight champion Joey Maxim. It was an 8-round decision, but so be it. Floyd dusted himself off and continued on his merry way. Now, he had quite the winning streak following that. With that being said, he plowed through the likes of Joey Gannon, Willie Troy, Don Grant, and even our very own Yvonne Durrell. This was all still done at the middleweight weight class, but had more successes in the light heavyweight, and then, well, the boxing world was all shook up when Rocky Marciano decided to call it quits and retire. This left a gaping hole in the boxing scene. So a heavyweight world eliminator was then announced, and Floyd was tossed into the mix. June 8th, 1956, Floyd goes up against one Tommy Jackson. And it was a decent fight. It went the distance. Floyd won by split decision and earned the right to fight for the world heavyweight title. Later on that same year, November 30th, 1956, he steps into the ring, and the commentators are actually commentating on the fact that how much muscle, how much mass this man has gained and still looks like in phenomenal shape in 4 years. He's matured so much. He's gone up 15 pounds. And he's going for the world title, heavyweight title, against none other than Archie Moore. Quite the contest. The fight starts out with Floyd relying on his hand and foot speed and scored way more telling blows and won every round up to the 5th round. Now, partway through the 5th round, Floyd had this knack for throwing these like monstrous haymaker hooks. And this one time he hit nothing but air and actually lost his balance and slipped and hit the canvas. Okay. Got up and then set it up again. Maybe 15, 20 seconds later. Does the exact same move. Sits in a crouch position and like puts everything into this shot. But this time he lands flush. And Archie Moore gets smoked in the side of the head and collapses face first. Now, Archie Moore was a juggernaut of a warrior and struggles to make the count and succeeds. Only to have Floyd jump him again and put him away. Floyd is now the world heavyweight champion. Little tidbit of stats for you. He's 21 years old. He is the youngest to date heavyweight champion of the world at the time, only to be succeeded by Mike Tyson. Let that sink in. Not only is he the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, he did this in 7 years of being in the sport. From walking into a gym ever to being Olympic gold medalist at a lighter weight class, and then became heavyweight champion of the world in 7 years. That alone speaks about his greatness. But keep that in mind. 8 short months later, he's back in his office dancing, and with none other than Tommy Jackson again. But this time he makes sure that the final bell is not heard with a technical knockout in the 10th round. 2 fights later, something occurs that I think is just noteworthy. Now, during the 1956 Melbourne Summer Olympic Games, an American by the name of Pete Rademacher took home the gold medal in boxing at the heavyweight division. And doing my research, I realized back in those days, the heavyweight division was 81 kilos, which is, I think that's 178 pounds. That's current day light heavyweight. I guess we're just crickets then. I don't know. Mind you, there were still guys 200 pounds plus. But the cutoff weight was 175 pounds. Pete won the gold medal in the 56 games. So, yeah. August 27th, 1957, Rademacher is staring across the ring in his pro debut, his first pro fight, against none other than Floyd Patterson, the world champion. Now, Lomachenko is a boxing god, and he 2-time world Olympic champion, 396 amateur fights with 1 loss. When he turned pro, he wanted to fight his first fight for the world title. He fought his second fight for the world title and was unsuccessful. Wow. Outside of that, I can't imagine. This guy wasn't anywhere close to the caliber of Lomachenko. So, okay. The athletic commissioner then was a little more lax than it is today. Let's put it that way. Anyways, but now to his credit, Rademacher actually started off the fight doing well. He won. I think he won. I saw him. I gave him the win for the first round. He not only did he jabbed him and he fought behind that jab. He was a little bit bigger, taller, which was nothing new for Floyd because he was just a tiny heavyweight. He was bigger, taller than Floyd, and peppered the jab properly, and so be it. Won the first round. Second round came out and actually knocked Floyd down. Knocked the world champion down. Okay, so people were like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And then that was it. Floyd came to life and punished this man. He dropped him, 3 times in the 5th? 3 times in the 6th? Yeah. And the 3rd time in the 6th, he couldn't make the count. And that was pretty much it from Mr. Rademacher. but it was a nice story, I guess. Um, two defenses later, he is up against the big Swede, Ingemar Johansson. This fellow, 52 Helsinki Summer Olympic Games medalist, fought in the heavyweight division and took home a silver medal. So he has the pedigree, to say the least, and just as much time as Floyd in the pro ranks, right? Um, Johansson ends up stopping Floyd in the third round, dropping him 3 times in the third round. The world is shook. This is the fifth non-American world champion in history. Now, Patterson, or sorry, then what's called the rematch comes, and yeah, actually before the rematch, let's talk about that first fight where Floyd actually touched canvas 7 times. The 3 knockdown rule did not exist. 7 times in that contest. So be it. June 20th, 1960, was the rematch for that fight, and Floyd turned it around. It was Floyd's time, and Floyd took home his belt again. This time, he dropped him, slapped around like nothing. But what was most noteworthy about this scenario was the fact that Floyd was the first man to regain the heavyweight title after losing it immediately. Now, that's an interesting stat that I read, and I still don't understand it because I'm sure that Joe Louis did the same thing, but I don't know. They're saying that Floyd was the first person to regain the heavyweight title. Okay, you do you. All the same, this is 2 big historical points that this guy's made. He's a star. He genuinely is a star. But so be it. There was a rubber match short time afterwards, which was pretty much a repeat of the second fight. Floyd wins with a 6th-round KO. 2 more title defenses later, and then Floyd is up against the scariest man who has ever stepped into the squared circle. Yeah, the one they call Sonny Liston. He was seen as unbeatable and put the fear of God in any and everybody with that devastating left hook. Anyways, the fight was nothing shy of a beating. It was, it was, Sonny dropped Floyd 3 times in the first round and knocked him out in the first round. No, that was July. 1952. And then a year later, almost to the day, in the rematch, Sonny does it again and knocks him out in the first round. You couldn't have a more solid case that one person is just that much better than the next. And this is a great fighter in Floyd Patterson. But so be it. He went on to continued to have some notable wins. Um, Actually, won against our Canadian hero, George Fellow. But shortly after that, he had a dance against the greatest. Yeah, my word. I would not have wanted to be Floyd in this contest. No, sir. All he did what Ali does and was trash talking till it hurts. Oh my word. He started off by calling Floyd the rabbit because he's scared like a rabbit. Okay. Floyd shot back by calling Ali Cassius Clay. Oh. Which Ali fires back and calls him an Uncle Tom. And vows he's going to humiliate him in the ring. Floyd then says the image of a black Muslim as the heavyweight champion of the world is a disgrace to the sport and to their nation. Yeah, about that. This fight had insane hype. And that's no understatement. The fight begins with Ali. Oh, sorry. The fight begins and Ali doesn't stop taunting Floyd. He is saying to him, "Come on, America. Come on, white America." Yeah. Ali was completely in control of this fight. He just played with the smaller Patterson like a cat with a toy. He was bigger, stronger, faster than Floyd. Um, if things if things weren't bad enough, Floyd was fighting with an injured back, and in between the rounds, his cornerman was working on his back to even add more favor to Ali because this guy wasn't even 100%. Floyd took an insane beating. And in the sixth round, he actually took a knee, only to get up and continue on the fight. But the ultimate sign of mercy came in the 12th when the ref stopped the fight because Floyd was taking so much punishment. Muhammad Ali gets the win. No. A surprising quote came from none other than Joe Louis. And he said that Ali could have knocked Floyd out whenever he wanted to. But let's face it, Ali is selfish and cruel. Ali made a great like this look like he was standing still. Floyd went on to have quite a few more fights with a great deal of success, but never again at this level. Um, he was still a name, but the guys were bigger now, and his number was up. September 20th, 1972, Floyd steps in the ring for the final time against a foe that he knows rather well in Muhammad Ali. This is after Ali had regained the right to fight. And this fight was for the North American Boxing Federation's strap, of which Ali just decimated him. Again, this fight was stopped in the seventh round due to Floyd's eye was cut, and the other one swollen so bad that he could barely see out of it. Floyd was a remarkable talent, full stop. But actually, no but, full stop. He was a remarkable talent. And the history books will have him setting 2 records. No one can argue with his greatness. They can't take that away from him. So, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. That's my show. Now, if you like this show, please hit the like button and subscribe. And remember to smash that notification bell. It's your boy Bola. That's a scoop. Till next time, folks.